Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Lady J, and for those of you who keep saying stop saying Lady J, you're Dr. Lady J. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm Dr. Lady J, and I'm doing a series right now. You all are getting a sneak peek on Facebook, but the series is called Growing Up Adventist, and I'm actually going to be talking about what it's like or what it's been like, or yeah, I guess what it's like to be Adventist, to grow up as a kid. From as far as I can remember, my dad was a minister. He's retired now. He's a minister for the Adventist Church for over 40, maybe like 50 years. So I grew up in the church. I grew up under all of the different things that we had to learn in the Adventist Church. So we're going to talk about it because some of the things I don't agree with and some things I do. That's not to bash the church. I'm not here to bash the church. I'm not here to bash any of the members or pastors. But what I will say is, as I come into my adult life, there are just certain things that I don't agree with. So we're going to be talking about it, and we're going to be also be talking about the effects that religion can have on people. It doesn't matter if you're Adventist or whatever; it doesn't matter. But the effects that religion can have on you growing up. Because sometimes, just because of the rigidness or all of the expectations, especially for myself, being a pastor's kid, sometimes just that, being a pastor's kid, being a pastor's wife, all of the many things that you have to deal with, and sometimes the expectations are so high that you end up resenting being in the church. So we're going to talk about that tonight, but specifically tonight, there are several things that the Adventist Church um, adheres to. I want to use the word adhere, that they adhere to and they expect us to uphold. One of the things is the dress code. Now, for those of you who know me really well, you know that is a sore, sour subject with me. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Probably some of you looking at me now like, yeah, she surely is not adhering to the dress code tonight. No, I'm not. And so we're going to talk about the dress code, and we're going to talk about what does the Bible say about the dress code? Like, where is this coming from that we have to dress in a certain way or we have to look a certain way? So, what I'm going to ask you to do while you're watching me tonight, where this series is strictly going to be on YouTube, but tonight I decided to uh, I'm going to do, hey Joyce, I'm going to be doing a couple sneak peeks on Facebook because I really want to get a lot of people involved in the conversation. And again, these are my opinions. These are my views. Um, as I said, I grew up in the Adventist church. Thank you. I grew up in the Adventist church. So these are just my views and opinions and how I feel about it. And so what I'm going to do is take a few minutes right now and share. While I'm sharing, I want to tell you a little bit about Lady J Media, because some of you may not even be familiar with who I am. But my name is Dr. Lady J, and I actually own my company is called Lady J Media, Butterfly Entertainment. And so with Lady J Media, we actually have shows that come on, and they're nightly shows. And this is one of the new series that I started. But I have about 13 different shows that come on. And if you guys hear any fireworks in the background, I live in Baltimore and they do all kinds of stuff here. So that's what that is in the background. As soon as I start the show, they start the fireworks. That's pretty good, though. Maybe that's the entertainment in the background. I don't know. You got to be positive about this stuff. But anyway, so um, what I wanted to do is start a series, my own series, talking about Adventism, because I grew up in the Adventist church, and a lot of people, a lot of women, I should say, in the Adventist church will not speak up. They'll talk amongst each other, but they won't speak up and say how they really feel. So I just decided to do the series. No shame in my game. It is what it is. We're all adults. And so we're going to sit here and we're going to have a conversation about it. If you could do me a favor and just make sure you share, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube page. And so back to me. So I have a station that's called What Up Baltimore Online Radio. We do weekly shows. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. My IG page is Lady J at Lady J Media, and you can stop on our page, our station anytime. Monday through Friday, and you'll get shows in the evening, quality shows in the evening time. This coming Saturday, if you live in Baltimore, we have an event coming up. Y'all got to come to this event. The event is going to be an event where there's going to be vendors, there's going to be spoken word, poetry. Hey, Van, I'm glad you're home. There's going to be so many things going on at this event, and it's a buffet, all you can eat buffet. So I'm so excited about it. You get to eat all you want. The drinks are included. It's $30 per person. That's for the entertainment. That's for the food, all you can eat. Listen, make sure you come out. If you live in Baltimore, it's going to be from 4 to 7 at the Security Square Mall. And the restaurant is called Azan Kebab, AZHANKABOB. The food is absolutely amazing. Please make sure you share the video. Thank you, Van. I see all the names you're putting in there. Thank you so much for sharing. So, guys, I'm going to share it to a couple more pages. And I hope it's okay, Van, to share this to your page, Van and Joyce, if I share this video to your page. So tonight, we're going to be talking about on this episode, this is episode 2 of, I'm going to say this with a smile, growing up Adventist, because it wasn't all bad, but there's just a lot of stuff I don't agree with. So we're going to talk about it tonight. And tonight, we're going to be talking about, oh, she said I shared on Rick Ross page. Okay, thank you, Van. She's so sweet. Van is actually one of our hosts, and so is Joyce, and they're on here, and I do definitely appreciate their support. Guys, make sure you share the video. I'm going to be giving you some information tonight to help you to better understand, because some people think that the Adventist Church is a cult. I've heard that so many times. It's a cult. They brainwash you. So we're going to talk about it tonight. And I'm going to break it down where I don't think it's a cult, but I think sometimes we do too much. And so we are going to talk about that, because I've had to debrief from some of the things that I've learned in the church. So we are going to talk about that. Let me just share this real quick. If y'all help me share, then I can go ahead and get started. Oops, sorry. That was me talking. If y'all help me share, I can get started. Let me share it real quick to one more page. I hope I got everybody. Okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about, let me get my notes out. Tonight we're going to be talking about the dress code. Okay, she said, don't ask me, I'm a part of what. Yes, you are, definitely. So before we get started, I want to share with you where most of the ideas come from in the church. So I want to start off by telling you a little bit about our church and how it got started. So first of all, we have a lady, some of you, they call her the prophet of our church. Her name is Ellen G. White. So I'm going to be reading because I don't want to take away anything. I'm reading this. I want to make sure that I'm putting the correct information out there. So I'm going to read this to you as it is written. Seventh-day Adventist, which I am, believe church co-founder, listen to that, Ellen G. White, who was born in 1827, she died in 1915, was inspired by God as a prophet. Today understood as a manifestation of the New Testament, and they, say that she had the gift of prophecy. Her works are officially considered to hold a secondary, listen to this, her works are officially considered to hold a secondary, hold on to that word, a secondary role to the Bible. But in practice, there is wide variation among Adventists as to exactly how much authority should be attributed to her writings. Okay. With understanding, she claimed, was received in visions. Miss White she's made administrative decisions. She's given personal messages of encouragement and rebuke to the Adventist church members. And Seventh-day Adventists believe that only the Bible is sufficient for forming doctrines and belief, which is also a position that Mrs. White supported by statements that she made inclusive of the Bible and the Bible alone. Now, so I wanted you to hold on to a couple of those words. And let me just go back. One of them was she had visions, and was able to write. Oh my goodness, she's written so many books for the church to show us how we should be living, how we should be eating, how we should be dressing, about marriage, about everything. Church leadership, all kinds of stuff. I remember even now when I go to my dad's house, he has like all of her books. Like there's a whole library, Ellen G. White Library. You can actually go look her up on YouTube. You can Google her, all these whatever, and her name is Ellen G. White. And so there are certain things that, growing up, when I would be sitting in church, and I remember going back as far as being 5 years old. And that's how far I can remember going back to hearing my dad's sermons and going to church. And we don't call it Sunday school, we call it Sabbath school, because we go to church on Saturday. We believe that Saturday is the seventh day. So I remember, I remember, um, even back then, my dad preaching and saying that uh, she's the prophet. She's the inspired prophet. God has given her a lot of information to give to us in writing so we would know what to do, especially in the last days. But she's the lesser prophet, and we are supposed to, like, the Bible was up here and she's supposed to be down here. Somehow, as I started growing up, the Bible was here and it seemed like she was up here. And so it was always confusing for me because I'm hearing in church from different pastors and so forth that, and in the teachings, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. But then when I would say, well, where is it in the Bible? Where does it specifically say that in the Bible? It was like, oh, well, Mrs. White says this or Mrs. White said, no, where is it in the Bible? So tonight we're going to be talking about the dress code because I don't get it. So let me before I go any further, let me continue on with my reading because I like to come correct with information. So the other thing I wanted to share with you is we read about who she is, and again, she's the co-founder of the Adventist Church, and back in the 1800s, and and also the prophet who God had given her visions and everything for what we are supposed to be doing. Okay, so let's go to the next thing because I like to make sure that we are clear. And so I'm going to read something from one of her books. It's called the Ministry. Let me slow down. It's called The Ministry of Healing, and it was written by Miss Ellen G. White, or Prophetess Ellen G. White. And this is chapter 22. I want to make sure that y'all have this in case you want to Google it, look it up. For those of you who are Adventists who might be getting ready to throw bricks at the screen right now, don't do it. I'm reading what she wrote. So, The Ministry of Healing is the name of the book, written by Ellen G. White, chapter 22. The topic is dress. Okay. Now, let me tell you what she writes. And stay with me, please. Don't go anywhere. The Bible teaches modesty in dress. In like manner, also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. 1 Timothy 2:9. This forbids display in dress, gaudy colors, profuse ornamentation, any device designed to attract attention to the wearer or to excite admiration is excluded from the modest apparel which God's word adorns. Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. Our dress is to be inexpensive, not with gold or pearls or costly array. Money is a trust from God. It is not ours to expend for the gratification of pride or ambition. In the hands of God's children, it is food for the hungry and clothing for the naked. It is a defense to the oppressed, a means of health to the sick, a means of preaching the gospel to the poor. You could bring happiness to many hearts by using wisely the means that is now spent for show. Consider the life of Christ, study his character, and be partakers with him in his self-denial. Now I'm reading what she's talking about dress. And let me let me let me just continue. Um she goes on to say, in the professed Christian world, enough is expended for jewels and needless expensive dress to feed all the hungry and to clothe the naked. Fashion and display absorb the means that might comfort the poor and the suffering. They rob the world of the gospel of the Savior's love. Mission languish. Multitudes perish for want of Christian teachings. I'm going to go down a little bit more where she says our clothing, while modest and simple, should be of good quality, of becoming colors, and suited for service. It should be chosen for durability rather than display. It should provide warmth and proper protection. The wise woman described in Proverbs is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with double garments. Our dress should be clean, because we're the temple of God. She said the dress should be helpful. Above all things, God desires us to be in health. Okay. And then she said it should have grace. It should have the beauty, the appropriateness of natural simplicity. Christ has warned us against the pride of life, but not against its grace and natural beauty. He pointed to the flowers of the field, and she goes on to talk about that scripture. The most beautiful dress he bids us wear upon the soul. No outward adorning can compare in value or loveliness with that meek and quiet spirit which is in his sight. To those who makes the Savior's principles their guide, how precious his words of promise. Um, And then I'm going to go down a little bit further. Um, it's just so many things in here. Y'all would have to go read this because I'm not going to read all of it. But I don't mean to laugh, but it's just some stuff in here. I'm like, what? Um, so she goes on, and this is why hey Crystal, this is why I'm having this conversation. She says, listen to this. One of the fashion's wasteful and mischievous devices is the skirt that sweeps the ground. Uncleanly, uncomfortable, inconvenient, unhelpful. And this is more true of the trailing skirt. Now, the reason I'm reading this is because my argument with people when they start talking to me about the dress code, who's wearing a trailing skirt right now? Okay, thank you. And then, she goes on to talk about the women who she said, women, how are you walking with these trailing skirts with hands filled with parcels? You attempt to go up and down stairs, to enter a streetcar, to walk through a crowd, to walk in the rain. And her whole thing is that back in the day, I guess back in her day, a lot of women wore corsets, so they were very tight. And so what she's saying is that you're wearing these corsets and this tight stuff, and again, bringing attention to yourself. That was back in the 1800s. And so, but I'm gonna just let me just read a couple more things that I wanted to. It was one last thing I wanted to read to you, because she ends by saying, "Let the woman keep herself cheerful and buoyant. Instead of spending every moment in endless sewing, make the evening a pleasant social season, a family reunion after the day's duties." And she's talking about that based on the Proverbs 91 woman. Um, she said, let women themselves, instead of struggling to meet the demands of fashion, have the courage to dress helpfully and simply. Instead of making it into a mere household drudge, let the wife and mother take time to read, to keep herself well informed, to be okay. I'm done. So anyway, this is my thing, everybody. Now I can talk. I have these conversations with a lot of Adventist people who are really strict about the dress code. They're very, very strict about how we as women should dress. Today, in Florida, it was like 80 something degrees. I'm a woman. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm going through menopause. What I have on, I gotta have my arms out, my all of this. Cause if you know what menopause is like, ladies, you know that you don't like this right here. It's too much. Sometimes I gotta do this because it's just too much on me. You know what I'm saying? So you know that as a woman, believe me, this is not about showing off. This is not about grabbing attention or anything like that. It's because it's hot. It's hot. That's all that it is. And so when we talk about, when Adventists talk about the dress code, when they talk about the earrings, they talk about the hair, the makeup, the necklace, the bracelets, people wear rings. They talk about all these things, and what we're taught is that when you are wearing all of these things, you're actually bringing attention to yourself. And I'm going to get into that in another topic, because the one thing I feel like the Adventist church did not teach us is how to love ourselves. It taught us what we shouldn't look like, what we shouldn't be doing, and go out and help the poor, go feed the hungry, forgive this person, go do this, that, and the third. But you never really taught me how to love myself, because that's called vanity. And so I'm here to just say, listen, this is what I have come to believe. You don't have to believe it. You don't necessarily have to believe it, but I'm just throwing out how I feel, because I have these I call them underground Adventist people, because they're afraid to come on the camera and talk about it. But I'm not. I feel like God has delivered me from a lot of things, and now it's time to have that conversation and talk about it. And so wearing a necklace, wearing the earrings, wearing the makeup, wearing the bracelet in my church is considered, not, I don't want to say church anymore. My religion is considered wrong, abominable, and there are many older people who have already written my ticket for hell because of the way that I dress. I've been told that the way that I dress is offensive, it's enticing, and I'm doing it because I want to get attention. And years ago, that used to really bother me. It used to really bother me. And I used to argue with people so much about, no, it's not, I'm not trying to get attention. Da, 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 da. And I would argue so much that my head would be hurting. I would be crying. And as I got older, I realized, you know what? I'm a woman. I'm a grown woman. I'm a beautiful Black woman. Sometimes I listen because of school and the pandemic, I gained weight. So I'm getting ready to hit that gym. But, I got my little muscles in different places. But the thing is, hey, Yolanda, I am a woman. And a lot of us women love to dress up. We love to do our face. Now, my face is not like this all the time. I don't wake up like this, but we love to do our face. We love to do our hair. Sometimes you'll see me, my hair is short. Sometimes it's long. It could be when I really had time. Sometimes it was brown. One time it was blue. It's been all different colors. This sundress I have on is considered inappropriate because you can see a little bit of cleavage, but I got boobs, you can see a little bit of cleavage. And all of this is out. And there are times, many times when, you may see me and I'm wearing dresses, off the shoulder, especially in the summertime. That kind of looks kind of cute though. I like that. Hmm. But no, let me stop. But I wear a lot of dresses off the shoulder. Why? Because that's what I like. And as women, we know our body. And I said this in a conversation in a Bible study a few weeks ago, that as women, when you thank you, Crystal, you're beautiful and wonderful. Amen. Amen. We all are. And I said this in a Bible study a few weeks ago. We keep talking about the dress code and what women should not wear. One of the things that came up was about the hair, because in the Bible it talks about the broided hair and the pearls and the different things, And so I asked the question, because now we're living in a day and time where we're into the natural hair. Now, me personally, I can't do the natural hair because I like to switch up a lot. So natural hair doesn't work for me, but I think it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. two of my sisters and my little niece, they have natural hair. So I asked the question, when you talk about the braided hair, when you talk about the little beads that they put in the hair, so you're saying that everybody in your church, every woman in your church is or got that train ticket to hell because now they have braided hair, natural hair. Like, come on. I think at some point in time in our church, in the Adventist church, we have to be really clear about our teachings. And I kept asking the question, where is it in the Bible? You're showing me about the head covering, about the braided hair, about all these different things. But when I'm reading, and you all who are coming in late, you can go back and listen to the beginning of this when I read what Mrs. White said about the dress code and what we should be doing. Now, again, she's supposed to be the lesser light down here, and the Bible is supposed to be up here. So, like I tell everybody, I go according to what the Word of God says. I respect my church, I mean my religion and its beliefs, but there are some things that I just don't believe in. And I remember having a conversation with an Adventist pastor, and we were really getting into it because I was tired of people, and I'm gonna say this. Because, like I said, we got the underground Adventist people who want to talk, but they didn't want to come on. So I guess Lady J got to go ahead and put it out there. But you know, you could be looking really, really beautiful. You could have your neck, everything covered, like Mrs. White said, all of this should be covered. You shouldn't have all of your arms and your back and all of that exposed. And what I wanted to do also is show you some pictures to actually help you to understand, when they're talking about dress and all those things, pictures of me, because I'm not going to use anybody else, and how I am offensive to people in the way that I dress. But I remember talking to the pastor, and he was talking to me about jewelry. Like, you're not supposed to wear jewelry. At that time, I didn't even have my ears pierced. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not get my ears pierced until 2019, just before the pandemic. I was so afraid that people in church were going to be like, oh my goodness, she got her ears pierced. You can look as beautiful, and I see a lot of beautiful Adventist women. But the one thing that people zoom in on is, oh, she got earrings on. She has a necklace on. She got jewelry on. So I remember the first time I went to church one Saturday, because I'm like this. I'm very open and transparent. If I'm wearing earrings Monday through Friday, guess what? When I go to church, they not coming off. They if I'm singing or up front and you ask me to take them off, I'll take them off. But I remember going to church, and I was walking in, listen, when I leave my house, like I tell women all the time, you have to be so confident in yourself and in your beauty that when you go out, you don't need validation from other people. You know how you look when you leave out the house. So I had already left. I already knew I was looking good. So when I got to church, the first thing people were like, oh, you got your ears pierced. So one lady pulled me to the side. She said, hey, I want to talk to you. Now I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. She pulled me to the side and she said, hey, I want to talk to you. I'm not sure what's going on with you right now, but I can't believe you got your ears pierced. I can't believe it. So, I wanted to pray with you and I wanted to talk to you. I want to make sure that everything is okay. And I'm like, I'm trying to keep it down. Because here's the thing. You're talking to a person that had 3 strokes, a heart attack, that's struggling, trying to get back on her feet. This is 2019. I wasn't like, I was just getting into radio on disability and just a whole bunch of stuff going on. And still in therapy. And you're talking to me about some earrings. And I'm going to use this word, and some Adventist people won't like it, but I think I used it when I was in a Bible study. I said, this is the stupidest thing that I have ever seen or heard. We focus so much on stupid earrings, a necklace, a bracelet. There are people out here dealing with mental illness. People are There are people, there are Adventist people, and we're going to get into that too. There are Adventist people who are going to come back whenever y'all decide to open these churches up, because I don't know what's going on with that. That's another subject too. But there are Adventist people when they come back to church who are so broken right now. They've lost loved ones, they've lost jobs, divorce, separation. People are going through so much right now that when they come back to church, the last sermon that they need to hear is about the dress code. I am so sick and tired of hearing about the dress code. I said to my dad one day, because me and my dad, we're always going at it, and he's always talking about the dress code. So I was like, if I don't know what that dress code is by now, at my age, then I'm not going to know. Like you're wasting your time talking to me about that. I am about my Father's business, and these earrings right here, these earrings in my ear, these holes in my ear, this necklace on my neck, this bracelet around my arm has nothing to do, and y'all can dispute it if you want to. It has nothing to do with me going out here as I do every single day, witnessing to people and bringing people to Christ. Yes, I bring people to Christ. I show people who Christ is. And guess what? They actually see Christ in me with my arms out, with this dress on, with this necklace on, with these earrings on, with this hair on. They actually see Christ in me. And people's lives are changing. You know why? Because people want to change. They want to know who God is. They want to know why Lady J is walking around smiling when she couldn't even walk before. They want to know why Lady J is always on cloud nine. People are hurting right now. And so when we continue to have these silly, idiotic conversations, and I know they're going to get me. They probably texting the pastor right now, but it's all good. That's why I went and got my education. Um, when you continue to have these idiotic conversations about dress, and you shouldn't wear this and you shouldn't do that, and telling me, which for me, y'all got real thick skin, so it don't even matter, telling me that, what I have, I'm doing it because I want to entice people. Let me tell you something. I'm a female. And if I want to entice a man, I know how to entice him. If I want to get him in the bed, I know how to get him in the bed. I'm not slow. I know how to do that. But this is not about enticing anybody. This is about embracing my beauty. This is about loving the skin that I'm in, something that the Adventist church does not teach you. Now, one of the things that she talked about as well was uh, we should be modest in our apparel. So what I have on, I forgot about my nails and my toes. What I have on, nail polish, get my nails done and stuff. That's not considered being modest. It's considered being wasteful, because I'm paying people to do my nails and my toes, and I could be using this money to go help the sick, the homeless. Guess what? Guess what, everybody? I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. I get my nails, my toes done. I go buy clothes, travel, and guess what? I still feed the homeless. I still help the homeless. I still go out in the street every day and work with people. If y'all don't stop, okay? Stop it. Just stop. Because so many Adventist people in my age group, when we sit down and we have conversations, there's so much confusion, there's so much hurt, depression, because you're taught to be quiet and not express yourself like I'm doing right now. That can get you banned from people talking to you. hmm But I don't care. And so anyway, been there and done that. Been banned before. Been there, done that. But you know, I want to do these videos because I want my Adventist friends to get out of that bubble, pop that bubble, get out of it, and understand that you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. You are grown. Read your word. Ask God what his will and way is for your life. Every day that I dress, this is no lie. Even when I sit down and do a show, I'm like, Lord, what should I put on? The reason I ask him is because I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to have something on that may be a distraction. And every time I do as he says, at the end of the day, he shows me why I told you to wear that particular outfit or that particular color. I remember one day, I was asked to sing at a funeral. I said, God, what should I wear? So I pulled out I think I pulled out a black dress because I said everybody wears black. And I remember God said, no, get your blue dress. Get your blue dress. And I'm like, man, I don't really like that dress, but let me put it on. When I put on that blue dress and I walked into the funeral, the color for everybody that was attending the funeral, they forgot to tell me, was blue. And this is what I'm saying about when God speaks to you, when you have that relationship with him. And so when you're constantly feeding me this nonsense of I am hindering myself, and I can only talk about me. I'm hindering myself from going to heaven. I'm hindering my relationship with God because of how I dress or what I have on my. Stop that. Please. People are hurting. I used to be one of them. Let me tell y'all a personal story. Personal story. When I had my son, and this is the thing, I was always afraid to wear makeup because I really thought I was going to hell. I was in my 20s, even in my early 30s, I was afraid to wear makeup because it had been so ingrained in me. Like, if you put this stuff on your face, you're going to look like a clown. You're going to go to hell. Your relationship with God is going to be strained. And it was so ingrained in my brain that I was afraid to put makeup, let alone some jewelry. Oh, heck no. Mm-mm. So as I was going through my pregnancy, and some of y'all know the story about my pregnancy, I almost lost my son like 3 times. And as I was going through the pregnancy, I was so stressed, and babies take a lot from you. They just pull a lot from you. If y'all hear anything, I live in Baltimore. That's them out there with the fireworks. But babies pull a lot from you. So during the course of my pregnancy, and you may be able to see it now, I used to be afraid really to wear my arms out. I used to be afraid to wear my arms out because of what happened. So anyway, um, I'm pregnant, and the closer I get to my pregnancy, I notice that my entire face now is just a big blotch here that's dark. I got a light blotch here. I mean, it looked like somebody had just did like this and punched me all over. And I had gotten so embarrassed, I didn't even go to church for like a couple of months because I was like, I don't want people to see me. I can't put any makeup on. So after I had my son, I had postpartum depression. We're going to talk about that too. Depression in the Adventist church, because there's a lot of y'all depressed and scared to talk about it, even the pastors. And so postpartum depression was upon me. And the more I looked in the mirror, I'm like, wow, you are so ugly. Like, you can't go to church looking like this. I'm looking at myself. My sister at the time was selling Mary Kay. She didn't wear it, but she was selling it. And so one day I was at her house and she said, let me try this Mary Kay because they have some stuff. So I didn't even know what concealer was, ladies. She said they have some concealer and, it will cover the spots on your face. And she did my face. And when I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh my goodness. And actually at the time, she was having like a little party or something going on. And so I didn't mind her friends seeing what my face looked like, but I was really not for the world or the church seeing it. So I said, oh my goodness. So she told me what to order. I wasn't even wearing lipstick. I wasn't wearing any color on my eyes, none of that. My eyebrows were gone. Like he just took a lot out of me. So fast forward, I put all, I learned how to put it on, just the basics: foundation, concealer, powder. Boom, gone. Didn't wear this, none of that. So I go to church first service I went to, because I said I got to test this out. I don't know if anybody, because I'm really feeling self-conscious because I got this on. So I go to prayer meeting. And when prayer meeting was over, all I wanted to do was like sneak out that back door, get in my car, and just drive off. Well, as I'm going to the car, one of the ladies walked up to me and she said, "Wow." She's like, "I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on?" So we're talking. But the whole time I see her staring at my face. And I'm already dealing with postpartum depression. I'm already nervous because I don't want anybody to say anything. And she said, "I just pulled you to the side to tell you, to ask you, um, no, she said, I pulled you to the side because I noticed you had makeup on." And she said, "Listen, girl, you don't need makeup because all it's making you do is look like a clown." And I did everything I could to hold my head up like this to keep the tears from falling, because she didn't even ask why I was wearing it. She just immediately went in and started telling me that, you're not supposed to wear makeup. Now you had this baby, all of a sudden you want to wear makeup. And it went into that whole rant. And I remember going to my car crying. And I called my mom and I'm telling my mom what happened. And she's like, "Who said it? Who said it?" And I was like, "No, it's okay. I'm not going to tell you who said it." And that is with me to this day. That was painful. That was hurtful because I wasn't wearing the makeup to try to look cute. I was wearing the makeup because my face was messed up. And I had just had a baby and the doctors couldn't figure out what was going on. And it took about a year for them to even figure out what was going on and how to get my skin kind of balanced, you know? And I was still nervous about coming out because I'm good. Like my arms are good when winter is here, but being in Florida, sitting under the sun, you can see the light and dark spots. But guess what? I don't care anymore. That's who I am. That's who God created me to be. And anybody that has a problem with it, it's their problem. So as time went on, I started really looking into makeup, and I was like, wow, it does make your skin look better. I don't get into the heavy kind of drag queenish kind of makeup, but I said, as a woman, sometimes what's wrong with it? Sometimes we need that just to enhance us a little bit. And so I started doing that, and I started getting my nails and everything done, and just trying to do that self-care because I was so depressed. All of that came out of depression. But what I got when I went to church was, you you can't be getting up there singing with that nail polish on your hands. You can't be getting up there with that makeup on your face. That's what I was getting. Nobody understood that I was hurting. I was dealing with postpartum depression. I just had this baby. I'm a new mom. I'm a wife. I quit my job so I could stay home and raise my son. It was so many things going on. And nobody bothered to ask, in the midst of all of this, what I got on. Nobody bothered to ask, "How do you feel? How do you feel?" And it was just amazing to me that we are so caught up in this whole dress thing. And then I call them police patrol who are in the church who feel like they can come and tell you without apology that you need to take this off, or you need to do this, you need to do that. One of the things that I did not read, she talks about wearing the open toe shoes. There were times when I would be singing on the praise team when I got rebuked because in the summertime, I had sandals on and I was showing my toes. We got to stop. We got to stop. And I just want to share a couple pictures with you, and then I'm going to be done because I want to show you the way that we're not supposed to dress. Okay, according to my religion, because again, from what's been said to me, I'm not going to speak of anybody else. What's been said to me is that it's enticing. It brings attention to myself, and I'm an attention seeker, and that's why I dress like that. So when you have on outfits like this with your breast out, you got a necklace on, you got makeup on, you got extra hair added on, that's a no. That's not being modest. This picture right here, I was at an event. When you have your shoulders out like that, even though the dress is long, my shoulders were out and the dress is form fitting. That is not acceptable in my religion. Another picture with my hair out, my makeup, my necklace, my shoulders out. I told y'all in the summertime I have to do off the shoulders because it's just too hot. That's unacceptable and inappropriate. This picture right here, another event I was at, definitely inappropriate because the cleavage is showing. That is inappropriate. And again, with the makeup. This picture right here, again, considered inappropriate, cleavage showing, makeup on. Did I have it? I think, yeah, I did have a necklace on, but my legs are out. If y'all can see, my legs are out, and that skirt, that was actually a gown. It's long in the back, it's short in the front. Everything is pretty much knee length to me because I'm short, but that's considered too short and inappropriate. This picture right here, definitely inappropriate because I have on makeup. At this particular time, I don't think that I was wearing jewelry. No, yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Um, this is another event. The color red is, well, I don't know what they're doing now. When I was growing up, red was not acceptable. Red was considered, you were considered a harlot, or as they call it, or I don't want to say the actual word, but you weren't supposed to wear red, not supposed to wear your arms out. This particular picture right here, my ears were not pierced at the time, but I was at an event. One day, that was, and as a matter of fact, everybody, this was the first red dress. And that was actually a gown. I was going to an event in New Jersey and I needed a gown really quick because I was asked at the last minute. I went to the store and I found that gown and I was like, oh my goodness, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red, it's red. Mind you, this is 2 years ago. And I'm like, it's red, it's red, it's red. Oh my goodness. And I was taught that you don't wear these bright colors, bright, boisterous colors, because again, you're bringing attention to yourself. You're hindering the light that God could shine on you to bless other people. But because of the cost of the gown, I said, the heck with it. So I put the gown on. And once I put it on, I was like, you know what? Your color is red. Your color is red. And I went on and bought a whole bunch of red stuff, tops, pants, everything. Red is my color, you know, and it's not attracting any attention from anybody. Listen, there are some women, like I told my dad one day, there are some women that are so beautiful, they could put on a trash bag. People still going to look, and men are men and men are always going to look, whether you're covered, you're uncovered, men are going to look. Um, and so I just want to say this, everybody, in closing. I want to say this to you. I am not in any way bashing my religion because I do believe that Saturday is the seventh day and I do keep the Sabbath. So I'm not bashing my religion. But I do question some of the, what should I call them? Some of the teachings. I'll put it like that. I'm not going to say rules, but I do question some of the teachings that have been embedded in my brain. And I've had to grow up and ask questions, really deep questions. And you know how hard it is to do when your dad is a pastor, your mom is the first lady, you got three sisters who they walking in line doing what they're supposed to do, and you like that one out there that's like, hey, I got a question or I got a comment. Do you know how hard that is? But I felt like if I'm not true to myself, I can't be true to anybody else when I'm out here sharing the word. So I really prayed, and God gave me this show. He gave me this show because he told me, and he gave it to me about 3 years ago, and I could never get myself to do it. So when I graduated, I was like, you know what? Now I'm feeling like I can do this. He gave me this name, Growing Up Adventist, 3 years ago, and I didn't know if I was supposed to write a book, go do seminars. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, but now I understand it because there are so many Adventist people who need to be delivered. And you need to know that it's okay to speak up and say how you feel. Now, the younger people, my son's age, they don't have a problem speaking up, and I applaud them. people my age, you're late, kind of late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and not, Lord knows the 70s, they ain't talking. But you know, I'm not going to say we because I've been delivered, but they have a hard time saying how they really feel about some of the teachings of the Adventist church. Study the word of God. Ask God, is this okay? Is this appropriate? Should I be doing this? Should I question this? It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to inquire. And if anybody has a problem with you inquiring, that's their problem. You go to somebody else. We are grown. I cannot wait to get further into this series to really talk about why we as adults, adult Adventists, still have that child mentality. I cannot wait to talk about that. I cannot wait. Last thing, this book right here is the book that I had to read. It's called On Becoming a Woman. I had to read that growing up. And I was looking through it today, and there's so many things in there. I'm like, what? So, what? What? And so when people say to me, is your church a cult? You all are brainwashed. No, we're not brainwashed. Nobody's brainwashed. People believe what they believe. And growing up, our parents believed that what they were teaching us and what they had been taught, they believed those things and they taught it to us and they gave it to us like it was given to them. I chose not to give it to my son like it was given to me because I had too many questions. And I was not going to impose those views or any of those things on my son. So um, that's where I stand. And I want to say, if you are a woman, because I can't go too far into this because I'll be going into my next topic, but I'll leave you with this. I was talking to a couple women a few weeks ago and who are Adventists as well. And we were talking about um, the Adventist church. It's a man's world. Now I know it's a lot of people going to be like, ooh, it's a man's world. And women, especially my age, uh, going back a little bit and going in front of me a little bit, um, you're taught to be quiet and be submissive. So we're gonna get into this whole submissiveness because being submissive has caused women in our church to be abused physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally. Don't get me started. It has caused women to have nervous breakdowns. It has caused women to just feel like, I'm just going to go through the motions until the day I die. I'm not making this up, y'all. I talk to these people on a regular. And I hear on the phone the hurt, the nervousness in their voice, almost like, like they think somebody's listening. And so I thank God because God has given me peace. God has given me freedom. And God has said to me, be who you are. You're my daughter. You're my daughter. You're my princess. Be who you are. Love the skin that you're in. Embrace everything about you. Everything. Because these same people who come to you and they're telling you you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do the other, what are they doing? I've learned to, as you're putting the mirror in my face to say what I shouldn't be doing or what I shouldn't be wearing, I've learned to turn the mirror back at you. Because as I said at the beginning, the way you see Lady J Monday through Friday is how you will see her on Saturday at church. But some of you, as I turn the mirror around, I can see you during the week and I don't even recognize you. And then on Saturday, you come to church with your saintly clothes on. Remember this. You can't hide from God. He sees you Monday through Friday, and he sees you on Saturday and Sunday. So if you can't hide from him, don't try to hide from the pastor. The pastor can't give you hell or heaven to go to. You have to have your right relationship with God. Stop playing the games, the chess games. Be who God called you to be. And as I said, in all of my nakedness, which one of the sisters at the church called it, because she calls this nakedness and an abomination. But in all my nakedness and all my abomination, God has used me to bring I don't know how many people to Him. That's what I look at. That's what I focus on. Now, if y'all want to focus on the dress code and you wouldn't continue talking about it, have at it. We have just gone through a pandemic and people are dealing with mental illness. And I want to be able to sit in front of this camera. I want to be able to come to your churches if you would have me to come to your churches and talk to people about how to deal with mental illness in the church, in the community, in your home. This is what we need to be talking about. This is what we need to be focused on. All of these things, this is trivial, you know? This is trivial. This hair, these earrings, this necklace, this bracelet, this dress, this makeup, this is trivial stuff. I'm talking about real life issues and trauma that's going on right now that I see on a regular. And it's in the Adventist church. Y'all better wake up. So, my name is Lady J. Thank you so much for joining me on my second episode of Growing Up Adventist. This won't always be on Facebook. I'm going to be giving sneak peeks for maybe the next, maybe like 2 more episodes, and then it will strictly be on YouTube. So, I invite you to share it with your friends. If you know somebody who's Adventist, um, invite them to join us and have the discussion. You may disagree with me, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for us to disagree. I'm talking about my healing and my deliverance and my experience of growing up Adventist. So thank you so much for joining me. Y'all have a great night, Van. I'm so glad you're home and you're out of the hospital. I hope that you all have a blessed week. Remember to let God use you. Be who God called you to be. Not who the church is calling you to be or not who people think you should be. Be who God called you to be. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. Have a great night, everybody. I'm Lady J. Oops, they told me not to say Lady J. I'm Dr. Lady J. Dr. Lady J. And this is episode 2 of Growing Up Adventist. And we just talked about the dress code.